Thank you so much for checking into my YouTube channel again. This is Kimberly and we're continuing with our theme of the Christmas countdown. I still have my antlers on and today's video is going to focus on how to make your makeup last. Now there's going to be a lot of holiday parties, engagement, photo shoots that you're going to be attending this holiday season. And you definitely just want to make sure that your makeup stays intact, in place, and lasts as long as possible for these events. So this video is definitely just going to explain some products that you can use to help make your makeup last. Alright, so first product that you're going to need to make your makeup last for the event are setting sprays. Now I'm kind of doing this order backwards. I probably should have started off with primer since you would put that on first with your makeup, but we'll get to that later. Because setting sprays is what I use the most often. A lot of times I'm rushing to do my makeup. I'm trying to make it to the place on time. And then last minute I remember, okay, setting spray to make it last. So I have a couple of setting sprays here that I'm just going to go through which ones I think work for which types of skin tones and skin types. So I mean they work for all skin tones. I haven't really had an issue with any of them leaving a gray cast on my skin. But I definitely just want to go through each one and talk about the benefits and why I like them. So my favorite that I'm going to start off with is All Nighter by Urban Decay. And basically they're actually Urban Decay by Skindinavia. So way back in the day when I first got into makeup, Skindinavia was like a separate company. And then all of a sudden Skindinavia started making Urban Decay makeup setting sprays. But All Nighter is the it says it's oil-free, paraben-free, temperature-controlled technology, long-lasting makeup setting spray. So that's what all these little words are. So if you have dry skin, oily skin, or combination skin, All Nighter will help your makeup last all day. There's times when I've worn this makeup, went to music festivals, outdoor events where it's 90 degrees, stood outside in the sun all day, sweating profusely. And at the end of the event, my makeup was still in place and looked great. This spray is what you need. They have a smaller travel size if you're like going somewhere special that's smaller than the 3 ounces for airport traveling. But this is the full size one. This is the one I usually get because I keep it on my makeup table. After you apply your makeup, you hold it here, spray, 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 and it makes your makeup perfect. In terms of if you have oily skin, it's not going to stop all of the oil, but I would say it would stop 80% of it. So you're still going to have that kind of natural little shine on your nose, on the bit of your cheekbones. But in terms of your whole face looking completely oily, it won't look completely oily. You're just going to have certain spots where the oil is breaking through. But this works on everything. Even if you have like glitter eyeshadow, glitter lips, it definitely helps add longevity to all those kinds of look. So even though the glitter is gonna fall off of clearly, this helps it stay on just a little bit longer and keep your makeup intact. So makeup setting spray from Urban Decay, the All Nighter spray. So I love this one. The next spray that I'm gonna focus on, sorry that was weird, is another Urban Decay spray. This is the D-Slick makeup spray. Now this one looks drastically different because it's the old bottle. So they have all new bottles. The new D-Slick, if I'm not mistaken, is lime green with silver writing. But I feel like it's the same formula. I'm not sure. I haven't tried the new one yet. But this is the one that's for oil control. So if you have combination skin or oily skin, this is the one you want to use. So, again, oil-free, paraben-free, temperature technology, but oil control makeup setting spray. D-Slick, like you guys already know, I have the oily T-zone situation. My nose is already reflecting right now, but we won't talk about that. So D-Slick is definitely what I want to use when I want to stay matte. So let's say if you're using a foundation that's not matte, but you have like oily skin, that is where this will really help you out. If you have oily skin in general, this is going to help control the oils. Now, again, it's not 100%, but this one, I would say is a good 98%. Like, it's going to control most of the oils. Even if you have really oily skin, this is definitely going to help keep the oil at bay. And I think it's better than powder because it doesn't make you look as dry. So even though you can set all your makeup, you know, with setting powders, which I will feature later, This just is a little more natural looking and a little more less cakey. And so if you're not really going for the glamorous look, you're going for the everyday look, I just don't want to look oily, De-Slick by Urban Decay. So the next setting spray, I love setting sprays. As you can see, I'm like going through them. Next setting spray, I'm going to say this one, I have the travel size and the full size, and I've also featured it in a video before. This is the Super Goop Defense Refresh Setting Mist with Rosemary. So white container, blue writing. This one has SPF 50 in it. So we should all be using SPF every day, but especially if you live someplace where it's still sunny in the wintertime, you need this. I mean, exponentially sunny, definitely. So like California people, or also people who are like up in the mountains, I can imagine you guys get more sun exposure than the rest of us, so you definitely want to use this. I use this all year round also because, like I said, we all need SPF protection every day. It does have a slight fragrance, but it's not strong. It's not going to give you a headache. And it's really good because not only does it set your makeup, it gives you SPF. It doesn't control oils though, so if you have really oily skin, you're definitely still going to need to use an oil control primer or something to that effect. But this is a really good setting spray also, especially since it has SPF. Alright, the next setting spray is MAC's Fix Plus. So Fix Plus is kind of different from the other setting sprays where they're more trying to mattify and get rid of the oils. I use Fix Plus for just the opposite. So if you put on a foundation that's matte, you put on a primer that's matte, and now you look back at your makeup, you set it with powder, you look at your makeup, and now you realize that your face looks super dry. Don't leave your makeup like that. That is where Fix Plus comes in. So again, hold it back, spray a few spritz, and it brings your makeup to life. Especially if you have matte makeup that's been sitting on your face for like 2 or 3 hours and you just showed up to the event now and everybody's starting to take pictures. Go to the restroom real quick. They have a little like travel size one, so that'll probably be great for your purse. And basically spray it to bring your makeup back to life. Even though you want to look matte, you don't want to look super duper like crunchy, gross dry. And this is where that comes in. A lot of us make the mistake that we want to look matte, 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 and then we put on so many mattifying products that we end up looking flat and lifeless by the time our makeup is done. This is how you bring it back to life. Fix Plus is super easy, and it's really easy to find. They have different Fix Plus, but I've only tried the standard one. So maybe try the other ones, and I think they do have a mattifying one. I've just never tried it. Okay, last setting spray is Makeup Setting Mix Locket. This is from Kat Von D. This was super disappointing. I definitely wanted to just try something new that wasn't De-Slick. So I got this, and the salesperson at Sephora was like, oh no, it's going to be mattifying and it'll like do something to get rid of your oils. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then I got it and I tried it, and it did not do that. It did help my makeup last. It just didn't control any of the oils on my face. So if you have dry skin already, the thing is it doesn't make it look dewy either. So if you have dry skin, I wouldn't even want to recommend it because I feel like Urban Decay has a spray that makes it look dewy, and that might be even better. But this Kat Von D, it did keep my makeup in place, especially for like every day. Like you just want your brows and your contour to stay, or when you're at work, or something simple like that. I think that the spray is good, but this wouldn't be my #1 pick. I would definitely go with the Urban Decay sprays for oil control and the Fix Plus for bringing back dry skin and dry makeup before I use the Kat Von D. But this is definitely another option, especially if you have like all other Kat Von D products and you like want to stick with Kat Von D. This is definitely, it's a good makeup setting spray. It's just not the best. So another option you could use to help your makeup last. Alright, so now that I talked about setting sprays, I want to go over to primers. So I do have a couple of different primers. In terms of my skin, I do have combination skin, so oily, T-zone, and then dry the rest of my face. So I have some luminous primers and some oil mattifying kind of primers, because I use different primers on different parts of my face. So one primer that I really love in general, is just my favorite primer overall, is Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Base Mattifying Primer. So this one, they have like a whole series of primers, and no matter what your skin type is, go check it out, because they have brightening primers, moisturizing primers, not anti-aging because that's fake, but line filling primers and all different kinds of primers. I think there's like 8 of them. So go check out Makeup Forever's primers because they definitely have one that's going to suit your needs. This one I'll use every time I apply my makeup. I put this on my forehead, my nose, and my chin, and then kind of the tops of my cheeks, everywhere where the oil breaks through and tries to destroy my makeup. I use this primer. So it doesn't have any spell. It's kind of like a clear liquid. It doesn't have a grayish whitish overcast on deep and dark skin tones. So this is my favorite primer of all time. I will never go without it, and I've had this one for a long time too because there's definitely a lot of product in there. So this is a great mattifying primer, and I would definitely say you don't have to layer it up or anything like that. You kind of put one layer, it holds back the oil, but this is a great primer for making your makeup last all day. Next primer. So in terms of like, it's not an official dupe for it, but it's a similar option that is more affordable, I'm going to say, is NYX's Shine Killer. So the issue I had with this is that it broke me out on the dry areas of my face, but the oily areas were fine. That's crazy, right? So unfortunately I have to be really strategic with this and make sure that I don't put it like in this cheek area. I can only put it on my chin, nose, and forehead, or else it'll cause like the rest of my face to break out. But it definitely controls the oil, keeps it at bay, and helps your makeup last. I mean, for the Makeup Forever, I would say I probably get a good 10-12 hours of makeup wear. This is probably going to buy you at least 8. But for the most part, after 8 hours, who cares what your makeup looks like anyway, right? So yeah, definitely try this NYX primer if you're looking for a drugstore option. Next primer is the Photo Finish Smashbox Luminizing Primer. So this one is if you have drier skin and you want to make it look shiny. So I put this underneath where I have the highlighter sometimes. Also on those, like, if I get a little dryness over here, I'll use this primer. If you have dry skin, I would definitely say put this all over your face and it'll make it look awesome. Another thing I do is if I have foundations that are too dark, I can put a drop of this, mix it in, and it'll bring the shade up and keep the kind of a neutral tone, because this has like a yellow and red undertone, so it doesn't change the base color of it for the most part, but it will make it lighter. So that's just a tip and trick. That's why I always keep this one around. So but this is a great, not if you have oily skin, but if you have dry skin, the Luminizing Smashbox. I did try the clear Photo Finish one. I wasn't really a fan of it, but a lot of people do like that one if you want to check that out. Okay, next primer is, this is one of my favorites, Veil Mineral Primer from Hourglass. So this one is the sweat proof, bulletproof, crazy primer that everybody talks about, and I'm pretty sure it's like $40–50, which is why it has to live up to its name. But it's a great primer. So in terms of, my nose is usually always shiny. I definitely, if I'm going to some place where they're going to take pictures, I use this primer. Only issue is it leaves a white or gray cast on deep dark skin tones. So for instance, if I'm gonna go out and I'm not gonna wear foundation, but I do want kind of that oil control, sometimes I'll put this on my face without any makeup at all, and it'll control the oils. You cannot do this with this. It's gonna leave a white film behind on your skin that's very obvious, and you have to cover it with foundation. And even a powder foundation, I don't think will necessarily cover it. So you need to be using a cream or liquid foundation if you're going to use this primer. But besides leaving that whitish gray cast on my skin, this is a great primer. It keeps my makeup intact. Even underneath all the light rings and everything else that I have my makeup dealing with, this keeps my makeup on point. And the last primer that I have is not a face primer. It's actually an eye primer. So this is the NARS Pro Primer Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base Primer. So it basically is just the eyeshadow primer. It has a little doe foot applicator, and this is the primer that I use for my eyeshadow. So we can't really see it, but my eyeshadow looks super cute. It's like a pink blended into like a red. I love it. But yeah, so this helps it last all day. It doesn't, there's no creasing once you put this on there. It really moisturizes your eyelid and gives you a smooth canvas to work from. This is a great eyeshadow primer. There's a lot of eyeshadow primers out there, But this is just my favorite, the NARS. I always come back to this one. So those are just some primers that you should definitely check out if you want your makeup to last all night. Okay, so now we're going to go on to setting powders. So although I use primers, use setting sprays, sometimes before I apply my setting spray, I'll apply a setting powder just to give myself that extra peace of mind that my makeup is going to stay in place. So the first product that I use as a setting powder is not a setting powder. It's Studio Fix Foundation from MAC. So this is just a powdered foundation, and I use it to set my makeup. So as you can tell, I'm still coming off my summer glow. And this looks super light and ridiculous. So this is NC50. But for the most part, this is a shade that I would be able to use. I'm probably going to return to my normal winter color by mid-December. So from December to April, this is going to be the shade that I can use to set my makeup. So right now I can't use it to like set my under eye highlights, even though I'm not wearing any under eye highlight today. But I'll be able to set my whole face with this in a couple weeks. But it's a really great product. Definitely, you should probably buy 3, one for all the different shades that you'll be throughout the year. It sets your makeup seamlessly, doesn't look too cakey. But if it does start to get cakey, you can just set it with Fix Plus and it kind of looks perfect after that. So this is MAC Studio Fix Foundation, the powder. And I definitely use this to set my makeup. Okay, the next product that I use to set my makeup is also another, I think it's considered a foundation. It's the Two-Way Cake by Black Up Paris. So I have the shade TW05 D289. And again, I purchased this in the summertime, so this is a little bit closer to the shade I am now. So this, and it's a little redder, so that kind of matches me right now too. This is just another powder foundation that I use to set my makeup. You can wear it like all over your face as foundation, but I find it works really well for me for just setting my T-zone before I am going to finish applying my makeup. So it kind of takes that oil off, adds a little color but not too much, and I really like this. So this is the Black Up Two-Way Cake. And the reason why it's called Two-Way Cake is because you can also use it wet, but I prefer to use it dry. Okay, and the last setting powder that I'm going to feature that I use absolutely every day is an actual setting powder. It's the Translucent Crystal Light Reflecting Setting Powder Pressed from NARS. So again, I'm covering mirrors so that way I don't blind you guys. But this is a white powder, but you will be surprised it looks great on deep and dark skin tones. It does not look white. It does not have a white cast. It does not look ashy. If you take a picture, it does not show up like that white grayish under eye mustache weird thing that everyone hates. This is actually translucent. It's actually clear. And it doesn't, it works for all skin tones. So if you have a dark skin tone, I know when I first was searching setting powders for brown skin tone, everyone was featuring this in their video, and I didn't believe them. I'm like, that's gonna look white on my face. I'm not buying it. But eventually I did break down and get it, and it's my holy grail setting powder. Funny. So as you can see, I definitely use this all the time. There's kind of like a little brown residue left behind in it, because from the brush to my face to back in, it kind of leaves some color behind sometimes. But this is a great setting powder just in general. Like I said, I use it every day. If you have oily or combination skin, it's going to help keep those oils in control and then also set your makeup. So it's a great product, and it's definitely, if you're only going to get one of any of the products, definitely cop the NARS translucent face powder, because this is better than the other one. I haven't tried the loose powder. I'm pretty sure it's just as good. It's just that because I'm very clumsy and I drop and spill things all the time, loose powders are just not my friend. So that's why I opted for the pressed. But definitely this is a great powder for setting your makeup. And check it out. I got it from Sephora. I think it's great. Alright, so thanks again for checking out my How to Make Your Makeup Last video. Although this is kind of specific for the holidays, thinking of holiday parties and dancing all night, you don't want to sweat your makeup off, having a good time, you can definitely use these products all year round. They're great in general, and I think they're going to be wonderful for your makeup arsenal. So again, if you have questions, I know people are probably going to ask me about my hair. This is the same in Decay hair that I always wear. It's just flat ironed. It's the wavy hair. I just flat ironed it straight. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you can get some of these products and make your makeup look perfect for the events that you will be attending. Again, thanks so much for watching my video. Please share and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you.